Hello students, how are you? Welcome to English video lessons. I am Shailaja, working as English school assistant at ZPHS Bomanpalli. This is my fifth video. Okay children, how are you all? Okay, let us go through 10th class English, Unit 3. The theme is human relations. Okay, in this, the reading is, what is that children? Yeah, poem Another Woman by Imtiaz Dharkar. Okay, poetry means children, it is for heart. Prose means for head. It's a saying. Okay, let us go through this poem. Another woman. This morning she bought green methi in the market, choosing the freshest bunch, picked up a white radish. Imagine the crunch it would make between her teeth, the sweet, sharp taste. Okay, this poem starts with that morning. She means here a lady. Bought green methi in the market, choosing the freshest bunch. It shows her concern towards the family and cooking. She picked up white radish and imagine the crunch it would make between her teeth, the sweet, sharp taste. Here, two actions are there. You have to remember those. See, children, you know what is methi. This is methi. Okay. Next, she bought this one, and she bought a radish. You know all those, no children? Radish. It makes crunchy sound when you eat. Next, see that one. She imagined. What is that? What is she imagining? Yes, that is crunch between her teeth. That is a sweet, sharp taste. Then put it aside. But she put it aside, thinking it an extravagance. What is an extravagance? Costly, more than luxury, luxurious thing. Counted her coins out carefully, she tied them a small bundle until into her sari at her waist. Came home, faced her mother in law's dark looks. What happened, children? Did she buy radish? No. She imagined, she is thinking about the cost of the radish, and she tied the coins in her sari and she put it around her waist. And she came home and she faced her mother-in-law's looks. Here she imagined about money, children. Yes. And she came home. The leaves and chopped them. Her hands stained yellow from the juice. Cut an onion fine and cooked the whole thing in the pot over the stove, shielding her face from the heat. So, why her mother in law is very serious? Because she has some feelings regarding this lady. So, mother in law means she is the daughter in law. It means she went to market and she bought some methi and she came home and went to kitchen and she chopped them. Chopped means, you know children, chopped means cutting. She chopped. See the picture children, she is chopping them and she put that all those on the stove, and while cutting methi, strain means the remainings of that one, the juice is on in her hands, and and she is cooking. She put the pot on the stove and she is nicely ready to cook. And what happened after some time, due to that heat, she shielded her face. Shield means keeping the hand on the face to avoid heat. Okay, next we'll go for next one. The usual words came and beat their wings against her. What are the usual words? Maybe scolding the daughter in law by her mother in law. It means usual words. Generally, she used to scold her with some words. What are those? The money spent, uh, curses heaped upon her parents who had sent her out to darken other people's doors. It means here we can understand her mother in law is scolding the daughter in law that she is spending more money, and curses means here that is spelling wrong, children. Nurses in law, that is curses. Curses means blessing opposite curse. Heaped upon her. It means so many curses are there, and she is scolding her daughter-in-law's parents also, who had sent her out. Her parents sent her out without making her how to behave and how to spend money at her mother-in-law's house. And they think, as a result, what happens? It means to the house the daughter-in-law was sent, maybe darken. Here the word darken means make unhappy or sad. Sad other people's doors means in their house. If she spends more money, then there may be so many problems. Like that, mother-in-law always used to scold her, curses her. Oh, see the picture, children. Mother-in-law's dark looks, and she is scolding her daughter-in-law. Okay. Then she crouched as usual on the floor beside the stove. When the man came home, she did not look into his face nor raise her head, but bent her back a little more. Nothing gave her the right to speak. She crouched. Crouched means sat down. Why? Because, as usual, words from her mother in law came just like wings. And by the same time, when she crouched, sat on the floor beside the stove, her husband came home. She did not look into his face and nor raise her head. Why? Because it shows that they don't have good relation, and her husband also not in a mood, or he doesn't have any idea or feeling to wish her or to ask any questions like that. But she bent her head a little more. Nothing gave her the right to speak. So in this type of situation, she felt very unhappy, and nothing gave her to speak anything about her problem. See, children, she crouched, and she crouched on the floor. Okay, she watched the flame hiss up and beat against the cheap old pot, and a wing of brightness against the blackened cheek. It means as she sat down, she is watching the stove as the flame hiss up means came up, and beat the old pot in which she is cooking, and she's watching that one. It means that came and just to the cheek part of the pot. So the whole scene is observed by the daughter-in-law. It means, see children, like that. The heat hisses up. Okay. This was the house she had been sent to. Into this type of house, she was married and she had been sent to. The man she had to bound to, and the man means here her husband, and she has to bound to, she has to obey him. The type of a man. As soon as he came home, he didn't wish her, he didn't speak anything to her, and she too has no right to speak with him. The future had been born into. That is the future of the situation which our heroine daughter-in-law has to face. Okay. So when the kerosene was thrown, just a moment of surprise, a brilliant spark. It was the only choice that she had ever known. So what happened here, children? Well, the kerosene was thrown. It means a big spark, a brilliant spark, just a moment of surprise. It was the only choice she had ever known. It means she was thrown. It means here she committed suicide with the help of that kerosene. Yes, next. See the picture. She was burning with that kerosene. Yes, this poem was written by Imtiaz Dharekar. Mrs. Imtiaz Dharekar was born in Lahore, in Pakistan in 1954 and brought up in Glasgow, Scotland. She is ranked on par with some of the famous women poets of India such as Kamala Das, Sujata Bhatt and Tara Patel. She was born in Lahore, students, and she is almost all ranked means she is equally ranked with our Indian famous women poets such as Kamala Das and Sujata Bhatt and Tara Patel. She is not only a poet but also a painter and an accomplished documentary filmmaker. Wow, very good. Her collections of poetry are, it means her writings. Her other poems are Parda, Postcards from God, and I Speak to the Devil. Third one is The Terrorist at My Table and Leaving Fingerprints. Okay, this is all about our poetess. Okay, children, short summary of this one. We can understand that, children, short summary of this. The poem here starts with the protagonist. Protagonist means the main character. It means here the main character is daughter-in-law. She bought a methi in the market, choosing the freshest bunch, and she wants to buy the white radish, and she put it back thinking about the money extravagance, and she put all the coins and tied to a sari and put it around her waist. As soon as she came home, yeah, usually her mother-in-law's words came like wings, and she is going on scolding. Leaving all those things aside, our protagonist, it means our daughter-in-law, wants to cook the food. She cut the onion and methi and put it on the stove, and again all the words from her mother-in-law are resounding, and she is also scolding. And by the same time her husband came, but he didn't speak to her a single word. It makes her very sad. And while cooking, she saw the uh, pot, sorry, and she decided to commit a suicide. That is the thing, children. Here we can understand that we should respect a woman. It means this is human relations. Our theme is human relations. There are no human relations in this house. Nobody respects her. And what happens then? The result will be a big problem. Sometimes you can say that one, as the end of the poem, the woman dies as the kerosene was thrown over her, and her death is also not discussed, which was the only choice made for her. That is, we can understand, children. It means here the poetess named the title Another Woman means it suggests that deaths of women, that is domestic violence, due to domestic violence. One more lady like that, it is named as another woman. Inhuman treatment given to woman, that is simply she added the title another woman. It means another woman also burned. Okay, this is the family relations. We should maintain the family relations. Otherwise, the problem will be, we should maintain the family relations. Otherwise, the problem will be in many aspects. Here, we find that family relations means the whole family members and especially the wife and husband relations also. Yes, children. Woman should have her right to speak and she has right to live. So all of us respect woman and we wish there should not be any another woman to be like this. Okay, children. Let us meet in next video about the comprehension of this poetry. Okay.